Hi guys, my name is Ubby, but most people know me as Hider on the internet. And it's been a while since y'all have seen my face and properly be talking to you guys one on one. This isn't a normal gaming video, I know, but I truly do believe that this video is really important to make, especially because I have a voice and I have an audience and I have a community and I really want to connect with that community, which is a lot of the people watching this video. So for the people that know me in real life, for the people that know me in the gaming realm of things and the social media side of things, however you know me or wherever you know me from, I appreciate you and I truly hope that you know that I forever am so grateful for everything that has happened. And so there's a reason why I'm making this video. And the reason being is because I just turned 22 back in the 15th of October. It's currently the 24th as I'm recording this. And I was literally just trying to edit the video and I was thinking about it and I just didn't like what I was talking about and all the jargon and all the BS that I had in there. So this video is just kind of eliminating all of that, saying what I want to say, being real, being open, being honest, spitting the truth, and just kind of saying that, life is okay as long as you surround yourself with good people and as long as you know what's good. The whole point is to hopefully make this video connect with somebody, relate, and just kind of have the paramount of mental health is important and you are important rather than anybody else for that matter. At the end of the day, all you have is yourself and nobody else. You may have a lot of people in your circle, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to make sure that you're still good and that you're okay. So why am I making this video? It's very simple. I learned a lot during my 20s and I also learned a lot of BS, and I'm about to graduate college literally next semester and I'm going to get into adulthood, and for a lot of people that's scary stuff and it may be like the end all be all and being like holy shit, what the fuck do I do? Maybe that's just me, but I for one thought about it like that for a long time, and then I really got to figure out what I wanted to do and making a plan and really surrounding myself with people that matter. With YouTube, for example, eventually, surrounding myself with people that really gave a shit about all of this, which was creating content, streaming Call of Duty, and creating clips and generating enough time and energy to making this all happen. It's how I'm in the position where I am today, and it's also how I was in the position to work with a lot of people in the gaming community, such as FaZe Clan, and even some of the Call of Duty creators that maybe some of you guys watch. I want to point out, I was never signed with FaZe. I worked with some of the individual Fortnite creators at the time, and with that, I also learned a lot from just how to make videos, how to pace my videos, which is why my viewership has increased exponentially when it came to making these videos. If it wasn't for all the things that I've learned over time when making these videos, I would not be in a position to where my videos would do super good in views and likes and comments and all the interactions. I've been gone for 4 to 5 months at a time, and my videos still get 100 plus views, or even close to 500 or 1,000 views. I'm not trying to sit here and talk about, I used to work with FaZe or anything. This is simply me saying if you surround yourself with people that really give a shit about what you're trying to do, then you will be in a position to where you're going to be good and you're going to be set for life. You really just have to lock in and put yourself in a place where mentally you're good and you have people that really do care about you and really do want to see the best for you. A lot of people, and I mean, I'm guilty of this too. I've gone through a lot of phases, especially within the past year, right? I've met a lot of people, I've lost a lot of people, and I've gone through this depression era before where I just feel like I'm always alone. But at the end of the day, all you got is yourself. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you get all these kind of mixed ideas in your head about like what the fuck is going on in my life. And for me, I had that for so long. And even now, sometimes I'm still like that. But then I realize I have people in my circle. I mean, it came to a point where over time, I just felt like, although before meeting my brothers, my friends, the people that I hang out with every single day, without going into detail, I did a really lot of bad things and habits that no other human should do when you enter this depression era. Last year, I was the most depressed I was ever was. I really hit rock bottom. And I want to talk about this because I feel like you're not alone, and whatever position you're in, you can easily get out of if you really just apply yourself and lock the fuck in. And I want to use this video as a benchmark and as a placeholder to where I am in the future, in the community, and also just in real life. I want to talk a little bit about what happened last year because I briefly mentioned this in Twitter that I dropped out of college my senior year, and a lot of people were really shocked about it. And there was a lot of reasons as to why. Now, a lot of the reasons why was because I was homesick. I went to school in Pennsylvania, and during this area, I just felt like I was homesick all the time, and I didn't really know where I belonged. And it wasn't necessarily because of my skin tone or anything like that. It's just because like I had a hard time fitting in. And growing up, when you move around a lot, it's always like that. And so I really had a hard time fitting in, especially with my major doing communications and media and stuff like that, which is basically what I'm doing right now. This is a part of my major, filming videos, creating content, and just talking about social media as a whole. I never really found that group. And eventually I found that group. I did a couple projects and short films here and there. It was a lot of fun. I had a blast. But at the same time, there was a lot of stress that was involved in school, in my social life, and also just mentally, I just wasn't there. At the time, I was dating somebody. We were together for about a year, and I believe like a few months after that, when I went to school out of state socially, after the fact that I was in my relationship, I met a lot of newer friends that really resonated with my thoughts, the way that I was thinking, and just as a whole, what was on my mind. And they kind of understood what I was saying and what it really was. Because a lot of my brothers, my friends who are, I consider my brothers, they understand everything for what it is. And that was the same kind of relationship that I was getting back when I was going to school out of state. When I was with my ex at the time, it was a very good year, but then after a while, things started to kind of get a little bit rocky. And, there was just a lot of stuff that didn't sit right with me and definitely probably didn't sit right with her. And at some point, it just started to get more stressful than it did more fun. This applies to both the guys and the girls. Don't get into a relationship if you 100% are not ready for it. If you know that going into it, you have a lot of stress on yourself, do not get into it because I promise you it's not worth it. I myself was stress free when it came to everything about the relationship and just about my life in general. Yes, obviously, of course, I had other things to focus on that sometimes I would neglect because this was my first serious relationship at the time. And because of that, I had this like attachment style where, I was just like, oh, I just gotta make sure she's okay. And at some point, you live and you learn. And that's just life. And at this time, I was also working with FaZe. Like I said, I was never signed by the org itself. However, I was just working with these guys. And this is when it started to get a little bit more stressful because, on one hand, I had academics. Then on the other hand, I had FaZe Clan, and then later on, my ex would come along. And I just felt like I was in this loop of like, what do I do? Because for the longest time, I really wanted to make something work, and I knew I had to sacrifice something. So that's when I sacrificed for my mental sanity, the social media, the editing, and FaZe Clan, and my dreams of wanting to edit for an esports organization. Although I felt like it was very close, I just knew it wasn't right at the time. And for the people still wondering, I'm ready, and that's part of the reason why I'm also making this video is because I'm ready to seek a new adventure. And more on that later. But getting back to what I was saying, I took a lot of risk and I took a lot of sacrifices. And like I said, when I locked in on my education and then on my relationship and everything else, it was great and I had a blast. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot of things that happened in the midst of it, but it was good. Overall, it was my first serious relationship. Was it perfect? By no means, no. But was it an experience that, I am grateful for? Absolutely. And it was just something that I learned and how to take things as a whole and what is perceived as something as respectable and knowing your self-worth. It also made me realize that, there's people out there that belong in your circle and that will resonate with you. And if they don't, that's on them. When I was with my ex, I also made a lot of mutual friends at the time and that I still talk to that resonate with my thoughts, know more about me, and also just don't treat me as a ex-boyfriend or my ex's like boyfriend or whatever. They treat me as a human, and that's what really mattered to me. Moral of the story, make sure that you really surround yourself with people that matter, and you'll see where I'm going with this. During the summer, Max and I split ways, and I was in this depression era, and at this time I had no idea what to do. I was indulging in stuff that I should not have probably been indulging in. At this time, I was still working out at the gym. I was consistent for about a year, and that's when I met one of my best friends, my brother, and from then on, I started to lock the fuck in. Listen, my boys, my brothers, I know they're gonna be watching this, so y'all know who you are. If they happen to be watching this, I freaking love these guys. I train with them every single day. I lock in with them. And eventually, once I started going into the gym more every single day, I started to indulge less in these kind of bad habits that I would do. And like I said, I don't want to get into further detail because it's embarrassing to talk about it to some degree, right? You don't want to ever talk about your downfalls. But I feel like it's important to kind of mention it, that you went through something and how you kind of recovered from that. Eventually, as I was hanging out with more of my friends that I currently have now, I realized that I had to go back to school out of state. And I will never forget this because the same day I went to school there, I didn't pack anything. I think I literally packed my suitcase with just my monitor, my laptop, not even a pillow or anything, and just like I think like a pair of clothes, and that was it. Because I was like, gonna give myself a day, and I'm gonna see if this is even worth it or not. Which sounds crazy because I'm in my senior year of college at this point. I did something that I don't think most people should do. I decided to do this anyway, and I'll never forget this. And one of my friends really made it so clear for me. The day that I came to college, or came back to college anyway, I decided to hang out with one of my mutual friends who was friends with my ex. I had my own personal relationship with them, so it didn't really matter to me because I saw them as my friends, not, they're associated with her. I'm not going to talk with them because that's petty. And, I've learned to forgive and move on, and also just kind of not hold things like that because I feel like it's kind of selfish and somewhat rude. We're all mature adults and we all shouldn't hold grudges, especially over relationships. Unless you've done something extremely wrong, I feel like it's wrong to hold that kind of a grudge because it just feels like there's a lot that you have held back, and it's not right. I feel like you can move on peacefully without having that kind of interaction. But anyways, like I was saying, with my friend, I was just talking to him about, just being back home, things that I was doing. I was talking to one of my friends about potentially building some sort of business, and, just how proactive I was back here and how much happier I was back home, and just focusing on my health, and actually also personal training people at one point, and trying to get into clients and that kind of stuff, and working on just getting NASM certified, which, if you guys don't know, that is the certification for training people. Because during that summer, I think I trained a couple of my friends just to kind of like get into the gym, and also my brother as well. And I really just wanted to get into that. That was my passion. I knew I could make a business off of that. And it was something that I was willing to do. Obviously, now things are different, but I still do have the passion of making my own business and creating my own platform. And when I was telling my friend all of this stuff, I realized that I was just very happy where I was, and I didn't really have a care in the world. I was just doing my thing, being disciplined, and really learning how to handle my mannerisms, and also the way that I was like coping with my feelings. So that's when my friend literally was like, I think you found your answer of what you want, and I think you should go. Now in my head, I'm like, listen, I'm about to graduate soon. Like, I don't think I should do this. That's when I drove back, and I literally had a fork in the road. I literally had an exit that I had to take to go back to school, and I could have made that hour drive, or I could have made the 2.5 hour drive back home. And that's when I proceeded to do that 2.5 hour drive back home. I literally called my parents and I was like, listen, I'm just coming back. And my parents were so supportive. They actually were very happy that I was coming back, and they welcomed me back in with open arms. And honestly, I really am so grateful that my parents did that because I genuinely don't know what I would have done if they didn't do that for me. Obviously, they did whatever they could to be like, just stay there, thug it out. But dude, when I tell you, I was like crying like for straight 2 days before, 'cause I just didn't want to leave. And I'm honestly glad I did because if I didn't leave, I don't think I would have become the person that I am today. And the reason why I say that is because fast forward to now, I have created this brotherhood with my friends, and I'm now graduating next May. And I'm a part of a lot of these interactive clubs on my campus, and just being proactive with my health. And I'm the healthiest I've ever been, even though I've gained some weight. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I'm the most productive I've ever been. And I'm the most happiest I've ever been. I've surrounded myself with better people and less toxicity in my life. And it's because I took a risk. And, yeah, sure, I may have gotten lucky, but I took a risk and I risked it all. And now I'm here. And so the reason why this video is even being made in the first place is because I want this to be a video where people can look at this and be like, okay, somebody did this and maybe I can do this too given my situation or my circumstances. I really want this video to be a hallmark of, if you have something, go for it. And if you really, really, really want to make something happen, you got to be disciplined and you got to lock in. And I'm not just saying that for you, I'm saying this for myself too, because I'm very guilty of this, especially because this is my passion. This is something I've wanted to do for so long, and I haven't feel like I've been locked in enough. And this is the reason why I'm also making this video, because I've done so much, and for me to kind of put this on the back burner as well as also some other stuff is not fair for me, and it's not fair for any of you, for the people that do care about the YouTube and the social media stuff. I hope that this video does help you all, because for me, I learned a lot within the past couple of years of getting out of the dark and really embracing the journey of healing yourself and becoming better, and also really just figuring out what you want in life. I'll be honest, right after I dropped out of college, I figured out that, going to community college would be in my best interest, not to waste time or anything. So that's what I did. And that's when I met more of my best friends that I have now. And then from then on, I proceeded to just kind of venture out and eventually meet new people. I started going on dates again. And then I met my current partner, and she's awesome. And we've been together for a year. And I'm just happy. And again, it's all because I took a risk. And I reapplied back to school. I'm now in my first semester in my senior year of college. Though I have a whiteboard, if you guys could see, that was filled with a game plan. And I remember I was very, very scared on if I was going to get into any of the schools of my interest. And I got into all three that were very good in my area in New Jersey. I wasn't the best student in my first couple of years of college out of state. And then I was very skeptical of if I was even going to get in, or if I had a chance of even getting in at this current school that I go to. And now fast forward, I'm very much in. I'm also just so happy with where my current position is right now. In case you guys are wondering what I've been up to nowadays, I've been doing a lot of filming for a YouTuber of mine who lives in my area, and he does a lot of car content, and I've been just kind of coordinating back and forth with him and working on him with some of those videos. Can't really say too much on who it is yet. I think it's very cool that I got this opportunity. So it's kind of a weird full circle moment where I'm back to where I started, especially with working with YouTubers again. So like I said, I want this video to be a hallmark to all of you that if you have something in mind and if you want to take a risk, you absolutely should go for it. Not all of it's just luck. It's about just really applying yourself, really figuring out what makes it work and what you should do as a whole. Again, I really hope this video helps, and I really hope that a lot of you learned something from this video, especially given what I've been through in the last year. Like I said, man, I turned 22 last week, and originally this video was going to go up then, but I figured just kind of condense it and make this into something smaller. So I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. I don't expect it to do well, but I just hope that this helps one singular person, one singular soul. And if that's the case, then I think I've done my job as a smaller creator. So with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. My name has been Abi, or Hyder, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Smoke weed where they said I can't. Got rich when they said I can't. Got high and got on the plane and brought all my niggas when they said I can't. Went shopping places they said I can't. Bought some shit that they said I can't. Jumped on the road and did all them shows cause I was popping places they said I ain't. Went hard in places they said I can't. Promoters calling trying to set up dates. Bought the car with that yellow